We finally made it to the final video in the series going over President Joe Biden's economic report that he released back in March. And these final few pages could be the craziest that we read.
When Lambo, I'm such a degen.
Welcome to Degenny from the blockchain, where we defy logic, and we're going to finish off President Joe Biden's economic report released in March that has a bunch of crypto, negative crypto talk in there. So we're now on to the CBDC and FedNow. Let's get to it. Investing in the nation's digital financial infrastructure. The growth of crypto assets has revealed a demand for a faster and more inclusive financial system with a real-time payment system and circulating digital money. Some have hoped that crypto assets could act as a form of decentralized money, making the U.S. payment systems faster, cheaper, safe, and more inclusive. The vision has not been realized. You have not realized it. We have, crypto people have, you have not realized it. You have not implemented it into our financial system. It's as simple as that. It's not on us. It's not on anybody else but you who could just simply implement it. U.S. government, I'm talking to you. That said, there are still other ways near-term progress can be made on at least some of these goals. As a regulator and participant in the nation's payment systems, the Federal Reserve has a historic role in maintaining these systems' integrity. How are they doing? For example, in the past, decentralized payment systems were costly in part because some banks did not pay the full amount of a check from other banks, so-called non-par collection or non-par banking. That can't be done in crypto. I don't know how that happened, but that can't be done in crypto. It's sending the hard asset from one place to another. That's it. It's verified on the blockchain, and the manipulation, they're almost, it is so small. You would have to get millions of people to agree on something. And I don't know how you can do that. Just look at the voting system. In some cases, this was done by levying a fee on checks deposited from other banks. Shortly after the establishment of the Federal Reserve System, it started providing payment services to banks, and over time it helped eliminate non-par banking. This section first discusses an upcoming improvement to U.S. payments, which will help many consumers and businesses make cheap, instant payments. It then discusses the possibility of introducing a central bank digital currency. Ooh, it's scary to actually hear them say that, which is a digital form of money. We don't need it. There's crypto. There's stable coins, actually. So why would we need a CBDC? Right? It's already there. Well, why are we reinventing the wheel? Because there needs to be a stamp of approval by the government. I don't know about anybody else, but it's 2023, and if it's not evident that stamping your approval by the U.S. government doesn't need to actually happen in order to have things go, then you have to open your eyes. Because I work at a place right now that deals with UFOs, and disclosure, alien disclosure, and the narrative is that people are looking for the governments to disclose this information. When Moby Elder will tell you this, he's actually Lamplighter Studios now, and I think he's coming with a YouTube channel, and he has a Twitter. Look for Lamplighter and UFOs. He has so much evidence that activity is happening because he is a field investigator, a UFO field investigator within MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network. And the point here is that there's no governments that are verifying these occurrences. It's a decentralized, in a way, set of field investigators from all over the world that come into one database with all the information they gathered from certain cases from civilians, from people. And we're seeing that there's paranormal activity and, technology out there that is we've never seen before, and that has never been released, at least by governments or out there in the public. Yet we are looking for the government to be the official disclosure entity of UFOs. That's just a narrative. It's happening right now, and if you do enough research, there's enough evidence to show that something's going on. And in the same way, that I don't need somebody to tell me a show is great. I can determine that show is great, right? For example, so we just look to the government for everything because they're our teachers, they're our authority. We don't need that anymore. We don't. Everything is instant. This is no longer opening up the Sunday newspaper to check the news of the weekend. Today's time, we're no longer waiting for a week to send a telegram from one end of the country to another. Everything is instant. Look at Twitter. It's literally updating in real time. Within seconds, you can find out news that just happened out there, for example. So, wow, getting back to the point is the CBDC, just because it's backed by the Federal Reserve or the governments, please, that actually should tell you that it's not legit. They're printing money right now. What are they going to do? They're just going to release more CBDCs. There's not going to be a hard cap on CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. They'll just print more when they need it. In fact, they'll be able to, this is what I hear from other influencers, sort of lock up your funds. Or if you have to register your wallet with the government, they'll lock up your wallet or your funds for, I don't know, who knows what. Something you say, something you do. It's just unfair. Like, Bitcoin exists. Stablecoins exist. We don't need a CBDC because, you have your stamp on it, government. And that leads to, while operating under the supervision of a trusted authority. Exactly. We don't need that. Don't need it. Both the trusted, and that's a very loose term, because I don't think the governments are trusted as much as they were in the past. So again, they're trying to push this narrative on you that they are the end-all be-all, and they're not. We don't need them in every circumstance. I'm fine with the government in many other circumstances. We don't need them in this one. Both these mechanisms have the potential to realize many of the benefits that crypto asset developers have promised. So now you're going to take credit for everything that crypto has built. It's unfair. The FedNow instant payment system. Here we go. In terms of overall value, as of 2020, the largest retail payment system in the United States was the Automated Clearinghouse. ACH provides an electronic means to exchange funds between banks and other depository institutions. Typical ACH payments include salaries, consumer and corporate bills, interest payments, dividends, and Social Security payments. Peer-to-peer payment platforms such as Venmo complete transfers that are in and out of their platforms by accessing ACH network services through a participant bank. The regional Federal Reserve banks and the Electronic Payment Network are the country's two national ACH operators. The prevalence of ACH offers many benefits, but a larger, more fast-paced economy is starting to arise. ACH payments can be processed in same-day batches between banks throughout the day, but a standard ACH transfer can take up to 3 business days for funds to be settled and available to end users. In addition, ACH settlements occur only on business days. Businesses and individuals alike are increasingly in their need of faster payment systems. True. All that's true. Advances in technology have created an opportunity for significant improvements in the way individuals and businesses make payments in today's economy. In recent years, members of Congress, staff members of the Department of the Treasury, and other experts have called for the Federal Reserve to offer a faster payment system for both businesses and retail users. It's already there. It's Bitcoin, it's Litecoin, it's crypto. I mean, it's here. Well, what do you mean calling for a faster form of payment system? It's here. It's here. As a result of the COVID-19 pandemic and increased consumer demand for e-commerce options, many businesses have also increased their efforts to offer quicker payment options. In response, the Federal Reserve has prioritized designing and developing a faster payment system. The Federal Reserve plans to launch this new system, which is called the FedNow service, later in 2023. Through financial institutions participating in FedNow, businesses and individuals will be able to send and receive payments conveniently, and recipients will have nearly instant access to their funds, giving them greater flexibility to manage their money and make time-sensitive payments. Not only is that happening right now in crypto, so they're putting out here as a new trusted form of this crypto thing that's happening. It's already happening with stablecoins, Bitcoin, altcoins. It's happening. It's the government that is not implementing this network into the systems. They want to create their own of the same thing so they can control it. Do you understand that? Say no more. This service will be operational 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. This uninterrupted processing of fund transfers is an important improvement over existing payment systems. It's already built, and it's called crypto blockchain technology. But you want your piece of the pie. I get it. So it would be nice if they did this for people who want it. But the people who don't want it, are we even going to have a choice? Our choice right now is crypto. And this is the problem with centralization and authoritarian ways, is that they want to tell us what we can and cannot do. It's unfair. This service is different from peer-to-peer services such as Venmo in many ways. For example, funds transferred via FedNow will be available more quickly than those that must first exit a peer-to-peer payment service and then enter the ACH bank transfer process, which take time to settle. Beyond speed and convenience, near-instant payments can yield real economic benefits for both individuals and businesses by allowing them to make the time-sensitive payments whenever needed and providing them with more flexibility in managing their money. In particular, near-instant payments under FedNow could bring significant benefits to vulnerable segments of the population. Now they want to come in as the heroes, the government does, when it's literally already here. They just don't want to accept it or implement it because they cannot regulate it. Not regulate it, but they cannot say what goes on it. Slow payment systems can cost Americans billions of dollars. In addition to incurring bank overdraft fees, consumers can be forced to use high-cost alternatives like check cashers and payday lenders. In 2019, it was estimated that a fast payment system such as FedNow could reduce these kinds of fees, generating savings of more than $7 billion a year for American households. It's so sad. They want to take credit for crypto technology. Because lower income individuals are more likely to be hurt by slow payment systems, they could easily gain from these savings if FedNow is adopted widely. Using innovation productively and responsibly in this way could make banking services more inclusive. It is so sad. It is so sad. It literally exists right now. It's education about crypto that needs to happen. It's regulation from bad actors within crypto that needs to happen. We don't have to have a CBDC from the government that says this is safe. Because, oh man. FedNow requires commitment and active engagement by the private sector to make it interoperable, which means connecting and communicating with other payment services. According to the Federal Reserve, interoperability is crucial for payment messages to be routed or exchanged and settled such that the lender may initiate a payment that will seamlessly reach the receiver. Not only that, there are literally blockchains and projects right now in crypto that are working on interoperability. And once again, the government wants to take credit for it and come out with it and put it on mainstream news so everybody thinks it's their idea and this is the greatest thing since sliced bread, and it's the US government's credit to their credit. Crazy. With interoperability, an individual or a business with a bank account, because they want to work in the banking system, that's right, would be able to send a payment to another individual or business without having to choose, understand, or even be aware of the path taken by the payment. Do you think people are aware of the path the payment takes right now in the traditional banking system? Oh my God. No. While noting that interoperability can take different forms, the Fed has maintained that it alone cannot fully establish the interoperability of FedNow. Achieving this will require active partnership and collaboration with the financial industry. That's what people in crypto and crypto evangelists are trying to do, is tell those private sectors about this. But nobody trusts them. Yeah, that's sad. Some have suggested that near-instant digital payment systems like FedNow may reduce the need for circulating digital money. You just want to ruin all the party. Because FedNow is one thing. One thing. It's not solving what other crypto projects are solving. There's so many projects and businesses built on crypto and Web3 that are doing things that this FedNow payment service will not do and does not do. This FedNow payment service is literally just a payment service of instant settlement that, again, already exists in crypto, and we don't need FedNow. And they want you to believe that this is digital currency and there doesn't need to be any other digital currency or crypto projects that work on other things. In this case, the benefits of circulating digital money after FedNow is launched may be minimal. In fact, Federal Reserve Governor Michelle Bowman commented in August 2022 that my expectation is that FedNow addresses the issues that some have raised about the need for a CBDC. Conversely, FedNow is intended to mainly focus on domestic payments and may bring limited improvements to the cross-border payment system, at least initially. In addition, FedNow is not a digital asset which can be used in settlements or provide transaction programmability, right? Roles that circulating digital money could play in the globally integrated financial system. So I think somebody, I don't know, remember who said it, but FedNow is like, maybe it was Crypto Keeper or somebody like that on Around the Blockchain. They said that FedNow is like the rail system. It's like the train track. And the train is the currency, and that would be the CBDC. Central bank digital currencies, alluding to this. Man, everything's just perfect transitions, isn't it? Just so you know, we have this section to go, and then the conclusion, okay? So we're almost there. All right. It is important to note that money can come both in a physical format and in a digital format. Thus, a central bank's digital currency is a liability of a central bank similar to cash, yep, but it exists on a digital platform where it can be exchanged and settled in real time. Well, Bitcoin doesn't have to have a central bank to hold its asset. Bitcoin is a Bitcoin, you know? Cardano is a Cardano. A flow is a flow, you know? It's a currency. Those are the currency. It doesn't have to be backed by anything. You're exchanging cash for a flow. And then wherever that cash goes is up to that person who received that cash, right? So crypto is currency, is what I'm saying. It's backed one-to-one by its crypto asset, right? Thus, the central bank's digital currency is a liability of a central bank. A CBDC system is made up of the CBDC itself, the public and private sector components that work alongside the CBDC, and the laws and regulations that apply to these digital assets. That sounds like a lot of stuff. When one Bitcoin or one Satoshi equals one Bitcoin or one Satoshi, and it can go from A to B. No private sectors, no regulations, no CBDC, no FedNow. Just saying, already exists in a better form. A CBDC system can be set up in numerous different ways, such as a wholesale CBDC, which allows for access only by financial institutions, and a retail CBDC, which allows for access by individuals. Yeah, I don't see any manipulation happening there. Two separate CBDCs, one that's literally controlled and operated and accessed by banks. If anybody sees that's a bad idea, please let me know in the comments below. That said, certain design features, oh yeah, and then the retail CBDC, which is all you other little specks of dirt, you know, you can't play in our sandbox. That said, certain design features and questions related to the underlying infrastructure of CBDC may blur these distinctions to some degree. As of January 5th, 2023, 11 countries have launched CBDCs. In addition, a number of foreign central banks, including the European Central Bank and the Bank of Japan, are exploring CBDCs, and some central banks, such as the People's Bank of China, are piloting a retail CBDC. This is scary stuff, guys. While some countries have considered using DLT for their CBDC, it is worth noting that many of the pilot programs for CBDC systems are not built on DLT. Instead, they rely on a trusted central authority, a country's central bank, to operate key aspects of the CBDC system. This seems likely to be the case if a US CBDC is introduced. A White House assessment of a potential US CBDC system recently noted that while a US CBDC system could, in theory, be mostly permissionless from a governance standpoint, this design choice introduces a large number of technical complexities and practical limitations that strongly suggest a permissionless approach does not make sense for a system that has at least one trusted entity, aka crypto is bad, is what they are saying in this report, because it's permissionless. This is somewhat ironic given that this is somewhat ironic given that this is different from an oft-cited founding principle of crypto assets like Bitcoin. I'm telling you, if I just read the next sentence in most of these cases when I pause, my point is made. So they're saying that Bitcoin's purported aim was to create decentralized money without any trusted central authority. Wow. They're basically trying to convince you that centralization is a good thing and a central authority is a good thing. And in most cases, and in some cases, it is. But something that is the livelihood of our existence, which is money, we need to pay for our house, pay for our food, pay for education. I know that's a controversial topic, but pay for things. This is the livelihood of our 3D existence, is money. I want to have ownership of it and decide what I do with it. I don't want to deposit it into a bank, more or less, because that's giving it away. You're giving it, you're depositing your money away. I want to hold it and be able to access it whenever I want. Right now, the illusion is that you can, but you cannot. You cannot. And not to mention the actual dollar that is continuously printed in the United States loses its value year over year over year. That to me is not something I want to be a part of. And it's been happening for years and centuries. And crypto has woken me up to that fact and made me research more of what's going on. And I realize that we're not in control of our own sovereignty. We're not in control of our own financial assets in this case. And they want you to think that you need a trusted authority in the middle. Just the fact that authority is in that phrase, trusted authority, irks me. Why does there have to be somebody seemingly greater than you or more qualified than you to make your own decisions? I don't like it. A US CBDC, a digital form of the US dollar, would have the potential to offer significant benefits. It could enable a payment system that is more efficient, provide a foundation for further technological innovation, facilitate faster cross-border transactions, and be environmentally sustainable. It could also... Algorand is a green blockchain. Environmentally sustainable. Facilitate faster cross-border transactions. Stellar, cross-border, instant. Cost 0.00001 XLM. Further technological innovation, all of crypto. More efficient, stellar, and all of crypto. It already exists. I don't know what we're doing. It could also promote financial inclusion, crypto already does, and equity by enabling access for a broad range of consumers. A potential US CBDC could also help support other policy goals. For example, a potential US CBDC could help ensure that such payment systems are aligned with the principles of human rights, democratic values, and privacy. It already exists. Monero, privacy, human rights. Many blockchains and blockchain projects are trying to be inclusive and equalize the playing field. I'm looking at Cardano with their African innovation. Democratic values. It's there. It already exists. People, you do not need the government to swoop in as the hero and think you are being saved by them. It already exists right now. And it's not FedNow. It's crypto. Crypto. There are also some risks from having CBDC in the financial system, similar to one-on-one backed stablecoins. CBDCs may also pose credit availability risks. That is, a widely available CBDC could serve as a substitute for commercial bank deposits. Just as in the case of stablecoins that are fully backed by safe assets, this substitution effect could reduce the aggregate amount of deposits in the banking system, which could in turn increase bank funding expenses and thus could reduce credit availability or raise credit costs for households and businesses. In addition, because central bank money is the safest form of money, a widely accessible CBDC would be particularly attractive to risk-averse users and likely more so than a stablecoin. Especially during times of stress in the financial system. The ability to quickly convert bank deposits into a CBDC could make systemic bank runs more likely or more severe. Yeah, don't have bank runs. Require banks to hold their assets. Right now, I think it's 0%. Banks don't have to hold any of their assets as hard. We don't need a CBDC to change that. Well, that's what they're saying. That won't change that. Maybe that has to be changed. In addition, CBDCs could cause operational risks. If the CBDC platform could not function due to a system failure or a cyber attack, it could erode investors' confidence. Yeah, that happens with Solana all the time. And I'm sure it happens within our traditional digital banking system right now. But I'll tell you what, as it's offline, your funds are safe on a blockchain, you know? So, well, I guess this is the case against a CBDC, but more so against a digital asset. But anyway, recognizing the potential benefits and risks from a US CBDC, the Biden-Harris administration has developed policy objectives for a US CBD system, which reflect the federal government's priorities for a potential US CBDC. These objectives flesh out the goals outlined for a CBDC in the executive order. According to these objectives, the US CBDC system, if implemented, should protect consumers, promote economic growth, improve payment systems, provide interoperability with other platforms, advance financial inclusion, protect national security, respect human rights, and align with democratic values. Crypto. Crypto does that. Not a CBDC. Not a CBDC. Nowhere in here do they say you have to register your wallet where you hold your CBDC, and we can control that wallet, because they will, and they can. But that's not here. That's not here. Finally, we made it to the conclusion. Thank you for sticking around and reading through this with me. I have learned a ton. Well, let's read the conclusion. I realize that I'm in the right space. Innovation in financial services brings both risks and opportunities for the broader economy. It can challenge business models and existing industries, but it cannot challenge basic economic principles, such as what makes an asset effective as money and the incentives that give rise to run risk. Although the underlying technologies are a clever solution for the problem of how to execute transactions without a trusted authority, crypto assets currently do not offer widespread economic benefits because you're stifling the innovation. They are largely speculative investment vehicles. They're not investment vehicles. They are currency to be used within certain ecosystems, no different than a national currency of a country and having to exchange your US dollars for that country's currency to operate within their ecosystem or country in this example. They're not effective alternative to fiat currency because you haven't allowed it. Also, they are too risky at present to function as payment instruments or to expand financial inclusion. Too risky in your judgment, not mine, because if you are risk averse within the crypto ecosystem, you can do just fine. Even so, it is possible that their underlying technology may still find productive uses in the future as companies and governments continue to experiment with DLT. In the meantime, some crypto assets appear to be here to stay. I like that admission. And they continue to cause risk for financial markets, investors, and consumers because you're not regulating properly the bad actors within the crypto space. Much of the activity in the crypto asset space is covered by existing regulations, and regulators are expanding their capabilities to bring a large number of new entities under compliance. Other parts of the crypto asset space require coordination by various agencies and deliberations about how to address the risks they pose. In our final paragraph of like the 45 pages we went through, certain innovations such as FedNow and a potential US CBDC, central bank digital currency, could help bring the US financial infrastructure into the digital era in a clear and simple way without the risks or irrational exuberance brought by crypto assets. Be opinionated, won't you? Wow. And again, nowhere in here is it going to say how the government will control your CBDC dollar that you hold in your registered digital wallet that they can see and access. Where's my ledger? Can you see and access this? No. This is as good as a wallet. Just don't put it in your pocket. And governments can't see inside your actual physical wallet, right? So why would you want them to see inside your digital wallet? But they will be able to. And they can flip that on switch when they want you to use it and off when they don't. Hence, continued investments in the nation's financial infrastructure have the potential to offer significant benefits to consumers and businesses, but regulators must apply the lessons that civilization has learned and thus rely on economic principles in regulating crypto assets. Okay. Well, scary times, because in that whole final section there, President Biden and Kamala Harris, Vice President, laid out a central bank digital currency foundation within the United States run by FedNow, a payment rail run by the government. If you don't know by now, the federal entities in the United States government print money. They print fiat US dollar whenever they want. Whenever they want. They raise the debt ceiling by printing more money. It is not backed by anything except a printer that prints it. There is nothing valuable about the US dollar. Now turn to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a digital asset that the owner of that owns, and it cannot be reproduced. It is code. It is instant, almost instant. It is decentralized, and it is backed by satoshis, or fractions of Bitcoin. It is backed by a consensus protocol, not a centralized authority or a trusted authority that you heard many times in this document, that they want you to believe, they being the government, that they are the authority and they're helping you. You can help yourself in the form of Bitcoin, in the form of sovereignty, self-sovereignty within crypto, by doing your own research and by just having an open conversation about it with people. It's time to change our financial infrastructure. And it's up to us. It's up to us to put pressure on implementing Bitcoin, for one, and all other altcoins and crypto assets, for two, and what will survive in the coming years within technology. That's it. Let me know what you think below. I would love to hear everybody's take on this federal report, or economic report by the President of the United States and his office. And if you are at all scared about what's coming with finances in the United States, please do your own research. This is not financial advice. Thank you for watching. It's just my blockchain reaction. Thank you for watching. Hey, thank you for watching to the very end. And before you go, please subscribe to the channel, crank up that like button, drop a comment and share the video. If you want to join me on the VEUIT platform, the Web3 streaming platform, I'm going to migrate all my content over there and create new content on the blockchain. My referral link is in the description below.